MSNBC admitting that, she could be in the slammer for some 30 years. I'd say you're in tough shape. Now, they brought their legal analyst on last night to talk about what she's really facing, which I'll just simplify it for you. It's 30 years in prison, okay? 30 whole years in prison. Letitia James is in serious trouble, and she's got two investigations from the DOJ. One coming out of Northern Virginia, the other coming out of Albany, New York. So this is the big deal. The subpoenas just went out in New York, and just to understand the scope of what she's facing, I think it's one thing to hear it from me, right? It's another thing when you hear it from the legal analyst on MSNBC. Like, this is not good. It's not good for her. I mean, it's how shall we say, karma? Let's be honest, right? This woman was vicious in her attack. Unbelievable. And we can dig into that. But what she actually was alleging was bizarre, especially in light of, pot calling kettle black, so to speak, what she may have done in terms of her own mortgage. Yeah. It's like it takes one to know one, for goodness sakes. Here she was out alleging that President Trump was trying to inflate certain things like square footage on his residence, inflate the value and, in terms of what he estimated Mar-a-Lago to be worth. And yet what was she doing? Oh, well, she was deflating. In the case of the Brooklyn apartment building, apparently saying she had 4 units instead of 5. And then there was the residence in Virginia, which she claimed was her permanent residence, which obviously, if you're the Attorney General of the state of New York, it cannot be your permanent residence. But anyway, she went after him for this, that, and the other. And yeah, you know what? What goes around comes around, shall we say. I guess she started this fight, which is what everybody knows and everybody admits. Even New York Magazine had a headline saying this is her own doing. I mean, she made her bed and now she's going to lie in it. And it could take 30 years to get out. Listen to this guy.
There is nothing scarier for a citizen to get a subpoena or find out that they're being investigated by a federal criminal grand jury. It's terrifying. And here's why. Grand jury investigations sweep broadly. They gather terabytes of information, and they're very efficient at going through it. And the problem there for people is that they may be investigating issue number 1 and then stumble across never before known issue number 2 when going through all those documents. That is why if somebody is the subject, the target of a grand jury investigation, that is not a good sign. So given that the federal government has such tremendous power to investigate, Letitia James should be very concerned. Not that she necessarily did anything wrong, but because that kind of scrutiny of financial records, of business records, everything going back probably years might yield something that the government finds interesting.
I mean, how about just saying, if we really wanted to go back in time to the mortgage application that she filed with her father, in which she said her dad was actually her husband. You could go back and find all kinds of things, I suspect, I think. And you know what? If she was violating Trump's civil rights, you know what? She was violating a whole bunch of other people's civil rights. And that's what they're going to try and determine. I mean, don't forget how rabid she really was, right? I mean, this woman was out for blood. It was really clear.
He's called me venomous.
We will fight back to your attempt to bring Trumpism to New York City.
He's called me disgraceful.
Of the fact that they stole the Supreme Court seat. An illegitimate president and an illegitimate member of the United States Supreme Court.
He's called me radical.
Listen, yes. We know he's crazy. Yes. We know he doesn't have a sound mind. Yes. We know he's out of control. Yes. We know he's losing it. Yes. We know his days are numbered and we will come together.
He's called me a racist.
We've got to stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male,
Thank you.
Well, it's all coming back to bite her big time. And again, think about what's going on now. You get the Albany case in which they're alleging she violated Donald Trump's civil rights. And this is something that has come up, has it not before? I mean, I think about something that Stephen Miller said rather recently about how she really did far more than what people were talking about vis-a-vis the concerns about the mortgage, fraud. For lack of a better term, okay? Mortgage fraud. And I saw one of your comments. You guys are saying, maybe 90% of members of Congress committed mortgage fraud. I mean, that's unbelievable to me. You do not just, say, hey, I want to save a couple points. And it's even less than that. It's like, a quarter of a point probably that they're saving on their mortgages and doing that. But it wasn't just that's being alleged now. It's this other thing that's coming forward with this other investigation. So they've got two bites at the apple. So basically, Pam Bondi is going to say, okay, you in Albany, you in Northern Virginia, you guys both go at it, see what you come up with. And then, the grand jury investigation, it's a big deal. And I do think it's going to result in indictments. Anyway, here's Miller talking about just how bad she is and how she weaponized her job. And don't ever forget that.
Letitia James is one of the most corrupt, shameless individuals ever to hold public office. She is guilty not only of those crimes, but of countless more crimes by using and abusing her public office to try to persecute an innocent man, depriving him of his rights, engaging in a conspiracy to obstruct our election, and to overthrow our democratic processes and procedures. She is guilty of multiple significant serial criminal violations. Yeah.
Okay. So he's laying it all out there. Pam Bondi now has an investigator in charge of this investigation. And I think it's going to result in some real problems. Some indictments coming forward for Letitia James. I mean, not to mention Adam Schiff, and we're going to get to him in a minute. But you want to know how important this is. Remember when Matt Gaetz was actually asking Merrick Garland all about this? He was like, so wait a second, were you guys in cahoots somehow? Was Letitia James and her office talking to you guys? Was Alvin Bragg? Was Fannie Willis? This was what he was trying to get to the bottom of, because they were trying to understand how orchestrated all of this was. And I suspect now with this discovery phase, as they do this investigation, they're going to have access to a lot of things that they want to know more about, shall I say. In other words, how rigged was this? How purposeful was this? I think you and I know the answer to all that. But it's important that the rest of the world understand. I mean, it's all coming out now. It's amazing, just amazing what went down and how they tried to take him down, how they tried to derail him before he even got into office then back in 2016. But Matt Gaetz was asking Garland about this. This was, maybe a couple of years ago. And this is an important sort of thing he's getting at, because he's trying to understand what the coordination level was. Well, now we're going to find out. Watch.
Communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump, you can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fannie Willis' office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
You make a request. We'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's...
And so did you notice how he tried to punt? He didn't want to actually give an answer to anything. Yeah, I'm really close to the camera right now. I'm on the road, by the way. I'm still, as you can see, still traveling, still on the boat. So hopefully this show gets through to you loud and clear. I'm using Elon's Starlink, so I'm going to hold him accountable if I don't get through to you right now. Anyway, that's a perfectly reasonable request, and Matt was never able to get that. He was demanding some kind of, record of the correspondence. Now they're going to be able to get all this, and that's what's really important. So I do think that she's up against a lot right now, and it's good. it's the right thing to have happen. I mean, we need to have consequences, right, for people like Letitia James.